The dad.
Rock and roll!
Well, judging from the carving on your desk, it looks like his name is Ozzy.
Yes, and apparently he rules.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So, a lot of us have wondered, I think, throughout our, time, fighting the fight for integrity in filmmaking, wondered where the fans are racist, sexist, homophobes, whatever, came from. And I always pointed at the second election from Barack Obama, of Barack Obama as being the lightning part. Because when you look at it, there has been nobody more divisive and racist than him. But I digress. It actually started in 2010. Douglas Burtons, who is a really great guy, he's got a great channel, did a guest blog for Cameron. And it was really interesting to me. And I'm hoping I do it justice here. But he was doing research for the blog, and he discovered a journalist named David Faraci at Badass Digest. I don't know if any of you guys know what that is. It's a Greek geek press niche readership. Had an article about the first Thor movie, and it was titled, "Racists and OCD Geeks Agree There Should Be No Blacks in Thor." Now, OCD means obsessive comic book nerds. And what's really interesting to me is that they somehow the Council of Conservative Citizens considered toxic. They were thrown into the mix with the comic book nerds. It's like, taking those people like that and throwing them into EU fans and putting them all together and smearing them with the same thing. But what's interesting is that the Southern Poverty Law Center put the Council of Conservative Citizens into their hate watch list. Southern Poverty Law Center paid for Unite the Right to show up and protest was it Charlotte or in Virginia during the whole statue debacle, right? This is what we call astroturfing. Okay. And the astroturfing, the more you look at it, but I'm going to explain something. Back in the same year that Faraci wrote that, Andrew Breitbart discovered something called Journalist. And it was a email list of reporters that talk about narratives, and they talk about what they should be talking about. And it's basically a very politicized group. He made it public. He got into it and made it public. The SPLC, the AstroTurfers, give money to racist groups, or they make them up whole cloth to get donations, right? This is why the federal government has indicted them on 11 counts. The SPLC is almost like 1934, the Reichstag fire. The whole story was communists burnt down the Reichstag. Well, it turns out Hermann Goering was in the middle of it, definitely not a communist, setting fire to the Reichstag. And a communist who's kind of a retarded guy named Marius van der Lubbe was indicted and executed for it. He didn't do it, right? The Nazis did it. This is what we call astroturfing, right? Now, let's talk about the sequel trilogy. What they did, and they started doing this long before TLJ came out, because people were pissed off about The Force Awakens. I mean, it might have made $2 billion, but they were pissed off. And, I'm sorry, the merch wasn't selling. Whether people want to believe it or not, the merch was not selling. And I saw it happening. I saw reporters starting to slime the fans. If you like, world-class bullshitters were basically on the leading edge of saying, "What the fuck did I just see?" And I saw it firsthand on X, now Twitter, or formerly Twitter, Pablo Hidalgo bitch-slapping a friend of mine for merely asking a question. So, this is the thing, this is the problem. We're seeing we're seeing a pattern now. Kelly Marie Tran and TLJ. Apparently racist, statements about her showed up on her bio on Wikipedia. Do you all remember Ichibaka? Well, apparently, the racist statements came from the same place that Jason Ward would post his crap on his blog and everything. His IP address, it was his. And the story is that Ward was paid and brought in on the side by Kathleen Kennedy to drive the old fans off. Right? That was what they were doing. And, did he have contact with Pablo Hidalgo? Yeah. All right. I would say yeah. He knew people at Lucasfilm. He tried to get a job at Lucasfilm. And when I asked Sparrow about it, he said, no way were they going to hire him because he's got a record. Okay. The defrauding older men out of money because he would use his wife at the time, Amanda, for bait. Really disgusting guy. Anyway, they created that. What they did to Kelly Marie Tran is what I call AstroTurf. You get on the side. You do something to undermine the position of the opponent, belittle their opinion because you want to, because you call them something they're not, right? And the fans were up in arms because we're not racists, we're not bigots, we're not homophobes, we just don't like woke shit. And by the way, the sequel trilogy sucked, okay? And, the numbers don't lie. But, let's talk more because there's more to this that we need to cover. And it's really deep, I think. So here you go. Get ready to watch the videos.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Dad, when are you going to stop blighting the environment with this atrocity? My God, can't you see that it wants to die? Let it go.
So we know that the Kelly Marie Tran thing was astroturfing from basically, I'm going to say, inside Lucasfilm on Kennedy's orders. And we also should assume the Moses Ingram, messages, racist messages, was also probably astroturfing, right? And, we could talk about the people that were involved with, from the left, like the Mary Sue, fighting the patriarchy, fuck off, bitches. Rewriting Ripley, fuck off, bitches. So many others, Star Wars Explained, Steele Saunders, and, others that took part. They might not have necessarily, been the ones to, put the messages out there and blaming, and trying to smear the fans with it, right? They were carrying the message forward. Okay. And you've got to understand, it's just, look, when they started talking about the Ray movie, we all knew there wasn't a Ray movie. That was, the fan sites that supported Kennedy running with it. And it was not just about projects and everything. This astroturfing and this behavior smeared Gina Carano. Everybody saw the meme she put out there. And it wasn't anti-Semitic. She was making a comment on political mobs attacking innocent people over an opinion. And, basically the question was, who's going to be the next victims of a genocide? And, she was right. And, we come to find out, Disney settles out of court. We can assume that the Fire Gina Carano hashtag came from inside Lucasfilm. Okay. We know that they tried to put her through a struggle session. She wasn't biting. And, then they took a meme that she posted and ran with the, anti-Semitic dog whistle in Hollywood. And here's where it gets interesting. This is Germain Lussier. He is a writer for Gizmodo, but he also does some things for Deadline. He was the one that dropped the story that she was fired to Deadline, right? So a friend of mine from Britain was doing some research because why not? And he discovered that Lussier was talking to somebody whose account was basically protected. And we started kind of circling around it, trying to see who else was involved in the conversation, because you could kind of tell. And it turns out to be a Lucasfilm employee, insider, someone who's very famous for fucking the fans over every time he got a chance, shitting on the fans, hyper left-wing nutbag named Pablo Hidalgo. And I've talked about this before. I am pretty sure was the one that started the Fire Gina Carano hashtag. It just fits his MO, right? Modus operandi. So what you've got is a cabal of left-wingers, a reporter who damn well is part of some sort of mysterious group of entertainment reporters, and being in cahoots with Pablo Hidalgo, right? Do you think that behavior is good for the company? I don't. Anyway, then you've got Leslie Headland, who did not need the entertainment press to attack the fans when she made the Trashlight, who basically in an interview with The Wrap attacked George Lucas as being not smart enough to hire Ralph McQuarrie when he did hire Ralph McQuarrie to do the concept art so he could get the money from Fox to make Star Wars. When she went completely nuts when she started getting attacked, from outright accusing the fans of homophobia to begging us to watch the show. And it's shitty fan fiction. I mean, John Favreau himself said, I've never seen such garbage in my life, right? It's garbage. Then we get Amanda Stenberg jumping in on there. They're racist homophobes, blah, blah, blah. She apparently, for, getting hired by Hollywood's sake, non-binary, or what, I don't know, whatever. Accusing the fans of racism and knowing that no one was watching it. And trying to get hype for it by doing a weird dance on Instagram, etc. And this is not covert. The Astroturfing over Kelly Marie Tran was covert. The Astroturfing on Moses Ingram and the so-called racist messages she got, that was covert. And look, don't be surprised that you get people in the journalist world in Hollywood doing the same thing the Southern Poverty Law Center did. So you got to ask yourself, how much of the stuff we think is true is true? Or is it a story someone planted to hide what's really going on, or to get your attention away from something else? Like, for instance, Last Jedi comes out. The fans are man babies, right? Remember that? I mean, here's Ryan Johnson getting in to insulting the fans by posting a meme here. This is where they didn't even try to hide it anymore. The press got their marching orders. The fan groups that Lucasfilm's bizarre press monkeys got together, got their marching orders. And instead of, trying to hype The Last Jedi as being a great movie, they posted shit like this and attacked the fans. It's really weird is to have a giant blue-haired land whale with nose piercings telling you that you're a misogynist when you're a woman, okay? Or calling you a racist without even trying to figure out who you are before they just puke out their stuff. But see, it needed astroturfing. It needed a foundation of bullshit so this stuff could sprout out. It needed to be seeded with hatred for the fans. And that's where it starts with David Faraci and Badass Digest. Let me remind you guys. Called basically the story, Racist and OCD Geeks Agree There Should Be No Blacks in Thor. And OCD geeks mean obsessive comic book nerds. OCD geeks for Star Wars, it could be people who are obsessive with the lore, fans who've been fans for a long, long time, and who wanted a continuance of the story, not a shitty soft reboot, and not a complete disregard for the characters we fell in love with, right? Taking the Force and the galaxy from this huge, vast domain to an itty-bitty place where only their politics fit. And, and it started in 2010, and by the time, people like to say Ghostbusters Answer the Call in 2016 was the one that did it, but it started a lot sooner than that. The playing field was being prepared long before that movie came out. And then it was saturated enough so when the dumpster fire that is The Last Jedi came out, and no, The Force Awakens came out, and then The Last Jedi, there was a full-blown, the fans are racist, homophobic pigs, and you gotta come out, you gotta think, this was not organic, this was planned, and they keep doing it. Why? Because they think it works. They don't know any other reason. They don't understand that numbers matter. And when you look at this, it proves the fans' point that the movies were terrible, had nothing to do with John Boyega being black. Vice Admiral Gender Studies was truly the only character that was worthy of the ire she got. And Rose Tico and her Maoist power to the people speech, right? And we had every right to complain. You promised us a Delmonico steak, and you gave us Spam. Something actually worse than Spam. It's hard to believe, but there you go. So, yeah, I want you guys to understand that all the ire and all the name-calling happened before, and it was planned. Because these idiots thought it would work, and seeing them doing it now, they think it still works, right? But Doug Burton did a really good job with this article, and I don't think I did it justice. So I'm going to leave a link to Cameron's Patreon. Go check it out. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. And if anything else happens, I'll be back.